Hey there, friends. This is episode 11 of the Sexcapade Chronicles, and we are lucky enough to have Arnie.
No, I'm the lucky one. I got to be with these two beauties.
We are lucky enough, and he's very lucky to be with us as well, to be able to shoot episode 11. So we kind of got a new venue because my apartment is going under renovation, our studio. So our studio. So we thought it would be kind of fun to get out and about.
Right, at a kid's place, which is, I think, fantastic.
Exactly. So we thought,
there's no children here now, they're in school.
I know, but I mean, how great would it be if like kids were having like a birthday party right outside, and here we are talking about.
I do have one of my kids out there.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh, I can see her.
she's listened. She's heard the stories.
They're not supposed to watch these, but they have YouTube,
Well,
so.
there you go.
Okay, so we were very lucky to be able to hang out with you again. So we were on your show a couple weeks ago.
You were on the Assathon.
Yes, the Assathon. So can you tell us about how much money you were able to raise?
We got about $1,000,
Okay.
and I didn't expect, I had no goals. I just wanted to do it to make people more aware of MS and stuff like that. And I wanted to get out and let people know that I'm back.
Right.
Because that's like the hardest thing I have, because radio stations won't let me advertise on them. Right, you know.
Right.
TV stations are too expensive. Billboards are ridiculously expensive. So I was like, you know what, if I'm out and get that word of mouth going, that's about the best way. And I remember looking into it a long time ago, advertising at a movie theater, like, you know, the 20 that Maria Menounos has just ruined completely. That is one of the most expensive things to do, and it's like, oh my God, I'm going to buy the entire country advertising.
Oh, well, you came on the right show because, you know, we know a lot of people, or I do apparently. I don't know, I was told this recently.
You're a superstar. By the way, great job on your speech.
Oh, thank you. We were going to talk about that. I
Okay.
appreciate that. You know, that was the hardest thing I've ever done, to be honest.
You,
Oh, yeah.
you did good.
Thank
did
you.
good.
I know you can only go up from there.
Yeah, there you go. You get more confidence as you go along.
Yeah.
You know, being on stage, being in front of people, it is hard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those tough things, and as soon as you do it like the first time, it might suck again the second time, but it gets better and it gets better. And then for me, when the first time I went on stage, I wasn't really that nervous because I'd done radio.
Yeah.
So when it progressed, I'll never forget my first big show I did at Silver Legacy in Reno. I had 2,200 people there. My belt broke 1 minute into my set. And I had to do 90 minutes. So the belt buckled, so I had to quickly tie it real quick and got it to stick. And as soon as the first joke hit, I have never had a feeling like that. No matter alcohol, drugs, whatever. When I had that crowd in the palm of my hand, and that's one of those feelings, you know, addicts, they chase that I continue to chase that high because it was so fantastic. Being on stage for me is like the best drug in the world.
And see, they didn't know when they asked me to do this that I never publicly spoken before.
That's good.
And they just assumed that I had a clue what I was doing, which is awesome.
That's great.
Well, because I've been on TV for 6.5 years, I did some radio. It is not the same
No.
at all.
Did
Totally not.
you swear?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Only one time.
Only one
time.
time.
Well, that's good. That's
I
good.
felt like, you know,
Well, there was also trails of children behind her.
and I was
on
like,
the field trip.
and I was a special ed teacher, you know, so I'm like, oh, I can't traumatize them anymore, you know. That's a liability in of itself. I mean, it was a huge honor though to be able to do it, and I felt like I had friends that I've known for 20 years call me and like say it was the most courageous thing they'd ever seen anybody do. You like, you know, like it was just like it meant a lot to me to be able to do it.
Good.
But then I felt like all of that stuff, like I got to start over. It's like a brand new life. You know, but being able to say it out loud.
Yeah, you get it.
You own it now.
Yeah.
And once you own something, like, I love it when people get mad at me or they challenge me, and the first thing they do is they utter off a fat joke. I'm like, now come on. Come on. I'm like the world's greatest name caller. I will find something on you and pick on it that you've never been picked on. I'll be like, God damn, you have the ugliest fucking elbows I've ever seen. People are like, elbows? I told a girl one time her feet were big and she wore like a size 7. She started crying because she had that in her head and she had big. I'm like, you have average feet.
Exactly, because it's the tape you have in your head, so like whatever insecurities, and so kind of getting out there, like I was like, I get to write a new one now, because like that had like haunted me for, I'll be 36 next month, exactly, you know, so it's kind of awesome. So thank you for the support and watching that. You know, we talked about mental health in your show as well, and how hard it is for people to understand that you can be struggling in the spotlight.
Oh, like watching that. I watched this, there's a new biography on A&E about Chris Farley. And I watched it last night, and I patterned a lot of my comedy back when I first started in radio after Chris Farley, as much as you could on the radio. Like, I couldn't do falling down stuff, but loud, angry Arnie. Angry Arnie was one of everybody's favorite characters that I did. And it destroyed me when he died. And there's people out there who don't believe that addiction is a disease, and I won't argue with them. If that's their belief, so be it on them. I believe it is a disease, and Chris Farley had it in a bad, bad way, and he just didn't, he went to rehab after rehab after rehab, and it just didn't stick for some reason because he didn't want to quit. And he had so many mental health problems that I wish he would have gotten help because, oh crap.
That's not really recording.
Oh damn it, it's all broke.
It's all broken. So this is why we need your dollars for renovations and better equipment. So we met you at Road Warriors.
Yes, at the comedy show that Carlos put on. And I dabble in some stand-up comedy. By the way, I have a show June 29th at Brewski's.
And that's my birthday.
There you go. I'm doing it just for you.
Exactly.
You're on the list already. How about that?
Fantastic. My 36th birthday.
Okay.
Well, we're doing Snatch Watch. Every year we do a theme for Planned Parenthood.
Okay.
Last year was No Pants or No Pants. The year before it was Unicorn, but it's always to be able to give back, throughout the year. Vaginas are important.
Yes,
Well, because I have cervical cancer, so
I agree.
being able to, and the world is a better place and I can't procreate.
You and me both.
It's like one of those things. So that's what I do every year for my birthday. Be able to bring all my friends together, drink, and give back to the world.
Now, did you hear the story? You said vaginas are important, which I agree with completely. They're fantastic.
I feel like for different reasons.
Oh yeah,
appreciate
completely.
them.
Have you heard this guy who's releasing a documentary about OJ, the OJ story with Kris Kardashian?
No.
So
I heard that yesterday.
So the rumor is that it's been a rumor that Chloe is OJ's kid. Well, this happened after Chloe was born.
Oh.
So they're at a. This happened 3 years before the knifing. That allegedly happened.
Allegedly.
It happened, but we don't know who allegedly did it. Allegedly. But the story is, and this guy was quoting, it's a former manager of OJ's, is that Chris and OJ were left in the jacuzzi because Nicole went to bed and Rob Kardashian went to bed. Not the son, the father.
Right.
And he stood up and dropped his pants and her eyes bulged. Well, and they went at it, and he destroyed her vagina, where he had to take her to the ER that night. This is all alleged.
Because he's so big, or he did
That's it.
There's a stop point.
Well, he even said later on. Later on, he says that he was once with a woman who says, "I don't do anybody less than 10 inches." And OJ said, "Quote, alleged. This is all alleged." OJ says, "Quote, I like you. You turned me on, but there's no way I'm cutting off 2 inches for anybody."
All right.
Yeah,
So
all right.
Shane
Wow.
used to sell sex toys.
Okay.
So this is your biggest fan in Tahoe.
Oh, this is my gift.
No.
Wow.
No, there's a whole box.
A whole box of dildos.
No, they're the original, from 20 years ago, like the old school.
So they're not used.
No, they're all
Okay,
brand
good.
new. So we,
yeah.
we decided after we got your show.
Wow, so I'm getting dildos to
You know what?
Wait.
I wish you were pulled over.
Wow, look at that. Oh, wow. I've never wanted to try one of those.
So for those, it's the...
Wow. Hey, Shane. Thanks so much, buddy.
We have the other stuff too, but we're talking about getting your dick bigger.
Yeah.
I felt like,
I have a question for you too, buddy.
Okay.
Would you rather be with a grower or a shower?
A grower.
Okay, all right, good.
Yeah.
I just always wondered that. I mean, and I had a great topic today on the show, And it came to me and I was like, oh, I'm taking this to those guys. But we'll get to it. I have it written down.
Okay, well, growers show her, like, it doesn't matter what it looks like. We don't care what it looks like when it's small. We don't
Right,
care
we're
what
not
it looks like
using it.
before.
Right.
I mean, like, because the concern of girth and such would be,
Yes.
like, my concern.
Yeah, that's a good start.
I mean,
You know how ladies don't like the word moist?
You know what? My husband says that I don't care about. That
Really?
word is not, but I also like cunty, so.
Yeah, you do. But I finally have the word in my head that I hate, flaccid. That's a word I just do not
Flaccid?
like, flaccid.
the flaccid penis.
Yes, just flaccid itself, it's just,
It sounds like Lake Placid.
yeah. You're like, oh, are you flaccid
So
right
on your
now?
next show, I'm just gonna blow up that text line with flaccid.
Okay, I appreciate that. Flaccid.
You gave her something to work with. Like,
Okay.
she calls her, her hashtag's cunty for a reason.
Right.
I still need a shirt, we still got it fucking.
Yeah. So, we have some other fun things though for you.
Okay, good.
We got some body paint,
Wow, okay.
body finger paint.
Oh, okay. That was one of the things that I found that I loved my podcast more than radio. It was early on because it was that Bachelorette show or The Bachelor when they go to like Hawaii or they go to Mexico. Remember the chick that was a real bitch, the girl who had a nanny still? You remember her?
Emily.
No, it wasn't that because that's my ex-wife's name and I really would have hated her. but the story was that she got drunk and the guy fingered her in the pool.
Oh, I know what one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yes, the one, that's why they had to stop giving them sex.
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah.
Okay,
Or
I remember
Bachelor in
that.
Paradise.
Yes, yeah. And I'll never forget when I said fingered, I had to stop and I was like, wait a second, I'm on the internet. I can now say fingered. That was the first time I was ever able to say fingered in that capacity. I was like, oh, this
Finger
is
flaccid,
awesome.
finger flaccid.
Yeah, so
I
everyone,
love fingers.
people ask us why we didn't just do a blog, or podcast without us in it. I was like, oh no. That's like the entertainment value alone.
Yeah.
We wouldn't make it 5 minutes without.
Entertaining, it wouldn't be funny. Who gives a fuck about that?
Oh, let me
But
write
we
about
have a
being
penis
flaccid.
enlargement system.
Yeah, so Shane sent Arnie a fake wiener.
No, he sent you sex toys because I was telling him he heard the podcast we did.
Can we put these down
Yeah,
here?
yeah, so-
Otherwise, my attention will be diverted from the
Yes,
like,
yes.
wow.
No,
Oh,
he
wow,
doesn't-
is this the suction cup? Oh, it's strap-on compatible.
Yeah, so these are like
Wow.
the original, 20 years ago. So we have the
Slim
ones
seven.
you have to plug into the outlets. Like we have the old school,
Wow.
ones.
Yeah, I don't want to go with one you got to plug in. That's
That's scary, right? What if there's like a power surge?
well, you can get electrocuted. Well, you gals can work up quite a lather down there. I don't want anything bad to happen to you. I mean, hey, squirters are people too.
That would be me. Okay, so
Bravo.
bravo. Yes, that's a special club.
It's an awesome club.
Yes, we
You
have
should
to
be,
be good at
you
what
should
we
be
do.
proud of that.
Yeah.
I wear a shirt. I'm a squirter. Fuck off.
Is that my new advertising statement?
There you go. I mean,
Hashtag squirter.
I had a shirt made that had a picture of Emily Ratajkowski, the hot chick from the Blurred Lines video. She's a supermodel and she stalks me all the time, which just pisses me off.
Totally normal.
But it's a picture of her in lingerie and underneath it just says hot girl shit too. It's true. I mean, it's true. They do.
It's a fact.
Yeah, it is. Deal with it, hot women.
Well, so we were talking about this on your show about your marriage and blowing, because we're talking about this about cheating over the weekend. So
Right.
what qualifies as cheating? Because we did a poll about this, and you said that your wife didn't, or what's her name?
Satana.
Satana, your ex, didn't think that blowing people was cheating.
Right.
And
Right.
so-
Putting another penis in her mouth is okay when you're married.
Well, the
I'm
fact
like,
that
no.
she came home and told you, hey, this is what I did.
Yeah, and she
But
was
it's not a
mad
deal.
because the guy fucking popped his load right in her face. I'm like,
How do you come to your husband and say, I had the worst
Yeah.
trip?
oh, this is so bad. I had the worst affair. And it was with a theology major. He was about to be a man of Jesus. And
in his last.
oh yeah, let's go ahead and just fucking kill every sin. It's like in baseball. Sorry, it's a baseball reference. When a guy has a perfect game going, he gives up a home run. It's like the worst thing that could happen. He gave up a perfect game, no hitter, and shutout. It's like fucking guy comes in your face. It's like,
That's only a boyfriend-only privilege, I suppose.
yeah,
not
I mean,
like a
that's-
theology major.
no, that's not like
When your husband's at home, you shouldn't be doing that.
No.
I just meant in general, like.
Your husband's, 1,800 miles away from you, and he's missing you at this point because he still really likes you. After that conversation, no more liking.
See, I need a cool name for my ex-husband.
Okay.
The second one.
Well, you can call him Lucifer. I mean,
I call him Saint Spawn, like.
Yeah, you can call it, Osama. Yeah. I don't know.
Cheating alcoholic piece of shit is kind of too long.
Here, write his name down here, and I can maybe come up with a funny name.
Okay, so like, what is like the guidelines though for cheating? Like, because to me it's like you kiss someone that's cheating, and I don't know if I'm like the innocent one in some way, because like if you're making that much of an effort, I mean, other than if I kissed a girl in front of the guy I'm dating, because who cares about that? But like that's normal in our society. But if you're gonna kiss someone, make out, if your significant other isn't there, like what makes it so you're cheating?
I think there's got to be some kind of moment of not necessarily passion or love, but there has to be some sort of intimacy. I think making out with somebody, yeah, that's cheating because there's a lot of intimacy there. Hello, Julia Roberts is a hooker, didn't kiss her, John.
Exactly. That was the first time it's ever been like.
Yeah. And if you're making out with somebody, yeah, that's pretty fucked up. And then they shoot their load in your face. That's really fucked up.
Did you have sex with her after the story?
Honestly, we only had sex maybe a handful of times, and this is like literally the first 2 months of our marriage.
Yeah.
We had sex maybe 4 or 5 times in total in our marriage because I was just turned off by her. At that point, I was under the assumption that you had to earn your way out, and it was one of these things where I tried. I put up with all her bullshit. Like she would check my phone all the time. If I was going to play golf, I'd play golf literally half a mile from my house with my dad, and she would call me at least 5 or 6 times on the golf course. And my dad would make fun of me for it, but it's because cheaters, they do all the stuff because they're doing it.
Okay.
And I come to find out, I was doing morning radio at the time, so you go to bed earlier than most people. And I found out that she'd been talking to like her ex-husband, who, by the way, she didn't try to get spouse support from because he had no money, but then she married, Captain Dipshit.
So no prenup.
Yeah, no prenup, and the state of California loves to fucking hammer anybody if they make money. So it was like, wait, you're talking to this guy, and this guy, and she wasn't fucking him because she wasn't going out of town, but it was like, why am I so stupid? And finally, it was after the hitting incident that I was like, I'm done.
Oh, California is an adult state, so like,
which I fucking hate.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about this. I was like, if you were like in Nashville or in Texas, like that would probably have applied.
Right.
You wouldn't have had to pay that. Since California, you can do this. You still pay.
In California, unless you're like physically beating your child, you can keep custody, which is amazing to me. You can mind fuck them all you want.
Well, my attorney, who got fired that day, when the judge came back and said, okay, this is what you're going to pay each month, blah, 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 blah. I was like, okay. And I'm walking out, and my attorney, who I hired literally 72 hours after the hitting happened.
I don't know about the hitting, so.
Okay. So, I told you her set-off word was the B word, not cunt.
Yeah.
And she said something. She had thrown a bottle of wine at me, and it went right over my head and broke. And she goes, I wasn't throwing that at you. I was like, I was like, look back. And we're talking, and she's like, we're going at it. And she had accused people that I work with were stealing money from me and all this kind of stuff. I need to be married to a real man that's going to stand up to anybody, blah, blah, blah. And so I was like, oh, you want a real man? And there was a bottle of cooking sherry. I'm 12 years sober at this point.
Yeah.
And you can take a drink without drinking anything. So I put my tongue over the thing, and the alcohol content in cooking sherry.
Very minimal.
Yeah. So I put my tongue over the bottle, and I turned it up and acted like I drank, but I didn't drink. And that's what made her throw the bottle at me. And she goes, well, I ain't letting you leave. You ain't leaving anywhere. And she'd like put herself between me and the door. And I was like, okay, whatever. And here's the part that I usually don't tell, but I'll tell you gals, because we're like family here. We're a broadcasting family. She had a videotape or a video camera in the house. And on that camera, I never watched it, she had the camera and she had like 3 videos in there. And one of the videos was her and her ex-husband going at it. Now, I don't know why she kept it in the house. And she only told me about a month before all this happened. I'm like, why is that even in our fucking house? Well, because I didn't want to get it on the internet, and I wanted to look at it and go, well, that ain't a problem. I want to watch you because you suck at sex. By the way, it was her on top, and that was it. That was the only. And so...
That's a bad thing.
So I said something to her, and all of a sudden, boom, left hand right to my nose. And I had a cut under my eye because she had a big ring, thanks to me, because I'm a great husband.
Of course.
And I was like, okay, now I'm leaving, blah, blah, blah. So then she like flipped over a table, really great coffee table I had, broke all the glass in there, and I had a shard of glass in my leg. So it's like, okay. And we're talking, yelling at each other, and she comes running at me, and I kind of roll her onto the couch. And she goes, there you go, you hit me. I go, I didn't hit you, da-da-da. She goes, you're a fucking fat, small-dicked asshole. And I go, well, you're a crazy fucking bitch. And I knew that was it. I feel his hand on my shirt, and all of a sudden she hit me 5 times right in the mouth. And I go, you're going to jail. So now we fast forward to the lawyer part. Police show up. They knew who I am. I lived in Lincoln. They were fans. And they said, what do you want to do? Because at that time, she wanted to be a history teacher. And I said, I just want to leave. I just want you to let me leave. Mm-hmm. And they got both sides of the story. And she told the truth, which I was surprised with. And the cop goes, well, and you were supposed to at that time, that's right when it first started, that no matter if there was a sign, and I had a cut, and I was bleeding out, and I had 2 cuts on my lip. And she hit me in the mouth. She hit me in the fucking moneymaker. That was kind of fucked up. He goes, do you want us to arrest her? Because at that time they were supposed to automatically arrest her, but they asked me, and I said, you know what, I don't want to ruin her life. Because I'm trying to be a nice guy. Because knowing that if she has a felony domestic violence, she's not going to become a teacher.
Yeah. I have credentials.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Oh yeah, she gets on the phone, she's on the phone with her sister, she goes, yeah, I'm going to jail. Well, I hit Arnie. Well, we got into a fight, and I'm sitting there, and I was in shock because I'm shaking, because I'm a big guy, and I've gotten my share of fights.
Yeah.
I'm not a guy you can hit and get away with it, but my life wasn't in danger. If she would have came at me with a knife, we would be probably talking through glass right now because I killed her.
But it was traumatic though, because you didn't see it coming.
Well, and the thing is after like the 4th hit to the mouth, I started to see red. And that's when I finally just like kind of pulled away, and I called 911, and the police showed up. So they took me upstairs and put makeup on me because they had to take pictures of me. So the police helped, and it's no fault of theirs. They did me a solid. And go to the day that I was told how much I had to pay, $4,000 a month. Oh. Yeah. And my lawyer goes, if you would have pressed charges that day, because I never pressed charges, you wouldn't have had to pay. I looked at her and I go, I hired you 3 days after when they had all the paperwork. And this is like almost a year later. This is like 8.5 months later, where all that paperwork is fucking gone or down the window or something. I'm like, I could have had all that stuff 3 days later. I go, well, you're fucking fired and not getting paid. I walked out. Oh, I was so mad at that, but yeah.
So how long does that last for?
Oh, it's over now. Spouse support in California, if you're married under 10 years, it's half the time you were married.
Oh, so.
But okay, so.
She wouldn't accept the divorce, obviously.
Well, here's the thing, that my drugs got me in trouble. She came back because we had an agreement, they told me how much I had to pay, the $4,000 a month, blah, blah, blah. And I figured out how many months. Well, it was about, and it wasn't, I didn't know I thought it started the day that they told you about it, right? It doesn't start until your divorce is final. So I had paid her for fucking 10 months, and it didn't count.
So she had $40,000.
Yeah.
She didn't tell you, like, hey, by the way, you don't have to give me this yet.
No, so then she came down because she would hear the show and she heard the voice that I did, and she wanted me to stop that. And I was like, wait a second. When we were married and I didn't talk about you, you said that was too much. Now that we're not married and I didn't talk about you, that's too much. I go, fuck. And I was fucking high. I took like 15 Norcos before this meeting. And the legal assistant, the legal lady was sitting there, not a lawyer, but she's sitting there and she's like fucking holding them out. Because I look at her and I go, how the fuck did I ever marry you? I go, you suck at sex. I'm saying all this at the Santucci legal place. I was like, you suck at sex and you're adequate looking.
Adequate?
Yeah. Oh, well, when I got my new attorney then, because, fast forward after my suicide attempt, her response to my suicide attempt was, his listeners are really going to hate me now. I'm like, not how's he doing? Yeah. They're really going to hate me now. So I show up in the courtroom, right? And the bailiff, he's like, who are you here to see? And my lawyer just so happened to be sitting next to her. She didn't know, my lawyer didn't know, because it was a new lawyer now this time. And I go, the dark-haired lady sitting next to the fat girl, and she'd gained a lot of weight. So he goes in and gets the lawyer, and she comes out, and the lawyer looks at me, and she goes, hey, how you doing? I go, man, I'm great. Did you see how fat Emily was? She goes, or Satana, if you can bleep that out. I go, did you see how fat she was? And she goes, please don't say that when you're in the courtroom. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. I wasn't high that time.
Well, my ex had a pill problem, so I became very accustomed to the Norcos and all the oxys.
So I've never experienced all that. Well, except for the one time he took all my Vicodin. It was after I had my tubes tied. And I didn't need it. And so I hid the Vicodin from him because he was an addict. And so I hid it from him. And then I needed it one day or something, and he was like, you took it all. I'm like, huh?
Oh yeah.
So it comes out, he had taken it all, and then told me that I had taken it all. That was the only experience I had with pills.
Oh, he went to heroin last year. It was like, it was almost 2 years ago. I mean, because he couldn't get it anymore. So he was, but he was going to work every day on heroin, meth, cocaine, Adderall, and Xanax.
Wow.
And he's still alive. He's done this for like 20 years, concoction of pills and such. Now, I went him into rehab 3 times. Now, this is even when we were not together. And to this day, he's like, well, I'm only taking, and I'm not going to say what now. He's got a job from the state, so I promised I would not talk about him at Mental Health Matters Day. That is done now, so I can say, yes, I did not know what the signs of drug abuse was, because I'd never even done any drugs. So I didn't understand, that it wasn't something that was going to get better, no matter how hard you tried to help that person. He doesn't want to get better. He is okay with his life and living with his parents, which I got to move back home 2.5 years ago. And, you try your best, but you can't help someone, as we're talking about, that doesn't want to help themselves.
You can't fix them.
If they're not ready to stop, then they're not going to stop. I only stopped when I was ready to stop. I was ready to stop drinking when I used to quit drinking. I love the show Intervention because I root for all the people that are on that show. But I look at the show and I go, interventions, they give such an escape to the addict because the addict can just go, the only reason why I got sober was for you.
Right.
This is why I got sober. They don't realize that you got to get sober for yourself. Now, like I said, I'm in favor of that show. I think it's a great show. When addicts can get help, I don't have a lot of soft spots. I have soft spots for addicts who deal with the disease. And I root for them and I try to be there. And I have a soft spot for people with mental issues, whether it's depression or whatever. I have a soft spot because I know what it's like. And I know that when I'm feeling better and doing better, that's me, as DJ Pauly D would say, living my best life.
Yeah.
So.
I totally agree with you. I mean, the only good thing was, he overdosed on meth at one point and finally told me he cheated on me with 75 women because he'd been up for a week. So, he's like, oh, from the beginning I cheated on you. Don't worry when you're in the hospital and had your hysterectomy and dying after your complications. Hearing those things,
what a wonderful person.
Yes.
I'm surprised he admitted it.
Well, he was at this point, he's out of his mind. He was cheating on me with people from rehab. He was finding, I found his Ashley Madison account. I mean, the extent, he's like, but he told me he'd done this for years, 10 years. This is why he didn't have a girlfriend. So, he went to Chico State and such, and this has been his entire adult life. And I had no clue at all about any of these things. And so you talk about Satana, being blindsided by that shit is no joke.
How was the sex?
Well, the sex was really good, which kept me around for a little longer than I should have.
So you with wait, I
with his new name.
Shitty.
Shitty?
Yeah, it's kind of close. I'll work on it. But yeah, Shitty. So how was the sex?
He was fucking horrible.
Isn't that the worst?
If you're he cheated the whole time.
Oh.
See,
you think he was saving the good stuff for somebody else? I didn't mean to rub it in or anything.
No. Okay, he was too selfish. He was too selfish. Okay, to be a good lover with anybody.
Okay.
And then this is probably going too far. Yeah. He went down on me maybe 4 times in 8 years.
Wow.
He was selfish. His whole goal was to hurry up and come.
Well, we talked about
busting nut and gone.
Yeah, there was no he was horrible at it.
Well, see, we talked about this on your show about wax and shaving. So our vaginas are in prime shape. I get waxed, you shave. It's not like there's a bush to work through or something.
No, it's not not like, a toxic spill. I can look at both of you. I've never seen your vaginas. But I can pretty much tell that you're not going to be fucking tore up from the, you're beat up from the feet up. No, I mean...
My nickname was the Golden Pussy, and that was the Bionic 2.0.
There you go.
Yes.
That's quite a nickname.
Because, like, I had to have
The
somebody...
Bionic one? Man.
What?
The Golden Vagina?
The Golden Pussy,
The
Everybody
Golden
always
Pussy?
comes back for more. That was...
Wow.
Yeah.
Bravo to that.
Thank you.
That's
I
good
know.
stuff right there.
I've had 3 kids. I'm not claiming any of that shit.
But yeah, you take care of it though. It's not like, it's not wretched. It doesn't, you take your pants off, you're like, oh fuck. I forgot. Okay.
Was that what your satana was like?
No, she didn't like oral sex.
Oh.
She gave terrible blowjobs, and she hated to be going down on them. I don't have a problem going down on chicks. Like, I said this the other day on the show. I said, that's one of the only times as a guy you're really in control, is when you're going down on a chick. You should enjoy that time. It's fun. You get to learn things. You know what, hey, you want her to bust a nut quick? You go down on her for a while, and you figure out what makes her tick. Boom. Then she can't complain when you come real quick, but you made her come real quick, too. So it's like... dummies.
See, like, I can say about my ex, like, he always made me come before we had sex and during sex, so, like, I stuck around longer than I should. Like, I mean, this is always only redeeming quality. Like,
Okay.
This is it. Oh, and he paid my rent. Like, when I couldn't work because of my PTSD and quit treatment. So, I mean, like, he actually is not a horrible human being. He's just an addict.
No, see, my first alcoholic, I mean, he's a good guy. He actually watches these.
Hey, how you doing?
His name is Shane.
Oh, that's your biggest fan?
Not dildo Shane.
Not dildo Shane. I was about to say, I'd give it all back. Including the couples kit. Because that's what I need, the couples kit.
This is the one you have to plug into the wall.
Fuck that. That's dangerous.
Okay. So
Well, I know what I'm giving out at Halloween now. You ever fuck with people like on Halloween? You gotta fuck with people like put in bologna sandwiches?
I don't want my house to get ate.
Oh, I don't care about that. I mean, that cleans up. Like, my ultimate goal is to go to the door with like a big pot of clam chowder and just a ladle and just dump it right in there. There you go, happy Halloween, kids.
Oh my god.
The fuck with kids. Oh,
I live in
so
Midtown if you want to do that. Halloween is my favorite holiday, so this would entertain me.
oh my god, there's so much like, what's the worst thing you ever got? Because I actually got a bologna sandwich one year. An unwrapped bologna sandwich.
Raisins and raisins.
Yeah, oh, that sucks. I mean, the pencils and the dimes and the nickels that you get. We had this crazy lady that lived on the street, and we would, she had these 2 trees, and we would take cassette tapes. Kids, cassette tapes are what we used to listen to way back in the day. And we would, how much tape was in there. You had like hundreds of yards of tape. So we would just wrap them around the trees at night, so other kids would walk into the house, you can't see the tape. I mean, we did stuff like that, and I didn't care about eggs.
See, I grew up in East Sac. Like, we used to go TP to guys' houses that we got mad at, that we broke up with, and like things like that. Like,
But see, now that would be considered vandalism. You go to jail.
I have like, not been arrested somehow. I don't know over the years because
the world's a stupid fuck. I did a story today about how some lady thought the word Wiedersehen is Nazi for goodbye. No, it's German for goodbye because she's trying to get people to stop watching Blazing Saddles. One of the funniest movies of all time because she thinks it's so politically incorrect. And it is politically incorrect, but it's funny. There's no hate behind it. That's the thing that pisses me off.
Okay, so, I probably am more politically correct only because I had to teach for so many years, and I wouldn't say this, well, I said a lot of things I shouldn't have said, but like the world that we live in is like a bunch of like little people that like their feelings and everything, like what is our society going to be like when they grow up, when they like think they have to be a winner and you don't have shit talked to them by their parents and their peers and you can't say any of those things that like, toughen you up for the real world.
You know what my oldest says? My mama didn't raise no bitch. And I love it because it's not like when they're kids, like if they fall and scrape their knee, it's like, I wasn't cold-hearted about it, but I was like, oh my god, baby, you're...
I think the world's gonna, I honestly, and I don't mean to say this and be shocking or anything like that, but I think suicide rates are gonna go up. And I'm sad to say that because the real world is still the real world. I remember doing stories about people that would take their moms on job interviews with them. I'm not kidding. Like grown adults out of college would take their moms, and I'm sitting there going, I think, and I've said this, and I know it's not popular to say, and this is my opinion, bullying is okay. When it's a group of people and they stab a kid to death, that's not bullying, that's murder, that's assault.
Yeah.
And I got into it with this girl that was running the board on my show one time, and I was so pissed off because she's like, oh, bullying's terrible, bullying's the worst thing, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, so that means you're going to outlaw older brothers.
Yeah.
And it caught her off guard. And I was like, no, bullying's okay. It teaches you to stand up for yourself. Because bullying happens in the workplace. And if you go to your boss and you go, huh?
You're being so mean to me.
Johnson now, he's making me do his work boring. The boss gonna be like, I don't give a fuck. I just want the job done. If you can't get the job done, then you're gone. They don't care. They're not gonna go to Johnson and go, Johnson, are you bullying him? You're not gonna do that because the real world is still the real world. Real world doesn't give a fuck.
Okay, I shit you fucking not. One of my kids went to school one day and complained that her big sister was, picking on her. Fucking CPS came to my house.
Wow.
Because...
Well, like CPS, because I used to run around to strangers' houses as a kid, like between 7 and 8 years old. I would go ask strangers if I could live with them because of what was going on at my house. But I lived in East Sac, so you close the windows, it doesn't count. And so every time CPS got called, my parents would be like, "Oh, she has some mental problems," and they used to they would believe it, but there was serious fucked up shit going on in that house and a lot of trauma. So then I went to my grandparents in Santa Maria now. So 6 hours away and tried to go live with strangers. Thinking they wouldn't bring me back.
Right.
No one ever asks, is there anything wrong? In society, this used to be normal, apparently. You believe the parents and...
But now it's gone too far to the other way.
Yeah, I know, I'm just saying, this is the other end of the spectrum. This is 30 years ago when they should have showed up to the door. And,
and that's what's going to happen is that the pendulum is eventually going to start going the other way. I can see signs of it happening here and there. And once the pendulum starts going the other way, it's going to be great. And we're going to be back to ourselves. And then it's going to go too far because it naturally goes too far to where, kicking the shit out of your kid in the middle of the street is going to be like, well, it's his parent, they can do that. And it goes too far. But I'm ready for it to swing because it's gotten so ridiculous that you have to be so politically correct about this, that. It's like, no, you don't. You can call somebody out on their shit. I don't care about their feelings if they're doing so. If some guy was taking a shit in my lawn every day and he had mental problems, I would still say something to him. I would clean up how I'm going to say something, but I'm still going to say it to him. But you're like, no, you can't say he has mental problems. And I love how, this is my favorite part, is that when there's something wrong with somebody, the lower you go, it's supposed to help you. I can fucking hear you. He can't hear you because he's not here.
Okay, so this is a story that's not been told before, but I stopped speaking to my parents, my brother, 2.5 years ago because on Christmas I had just gone to treatment. I was not in a good place, literally 2 weeks in, extremely suicidal, depression, crying every day. So my brother's now fiance starts talking about Marcus Allen. Now, we all know that I love Marcus Allen and that's why I am where I am. And she's like, oh my God, what a piece of shit, he got another DUI. I'm like, can you please not talk about my friend? He's he's always been there for me. And so she's like, why do you have to stick up for him? I don't give a fuck. I'm like, because that's my friend, can you please stop? So I end up walking out, it's Christmas. She hasn't spoken to me since, and I don't get to go to the wedding unless I apologize. So this was the end all be all.
Deuces.
No, it's in September, and I'm just I refuse to apologize.
I don't blame you.
But that's not the way the story is told, because crazy.
Oh, of course not. Yeah, you're an asshole. You're the bad person.
Yeah.
You're the one defending, and I imagine he's done a lot worse in their story. I told the story the other day on my show. I'll never ever forget it. The first time I've only been arrested twice, but I always have to preface this with the first time I was arrested. It was Friday, October 6th. 1988, because I just turned 17. In the state of Texas, 17 is considered an adult. It was Texas OU weekend, and my father's birthday is October 7th. So we were playing mailbox baseball, and we didn't do it the old-fashioned way where you hang out while you're driving. We would actually stop the car and then completely destroy the mailboxes. Driver was 16, passenger was 15, I was 17. We broke a policeman's mailbox who just got off duty. We didn't know. We were in Dallas. We left Garland because I'm from Garland. We left and we were 10 minutes from Garland. Pulls over, and I'm with two nerdy guys, but hey, they drove. And I wasn't drinking. And the cop asked the driver, he goes, so what are you guys doing? And it's October in Texas. Nobody's playing fucking baseball. And he goes, oh, we just got done with baseball practice. It's 11:30 at night. I'm sitting in the back going, oh, we're fucked. Right? Pulls them out, and both bats are behind me in the back of this guy. Like he had his dad's old Cadillac, some piece of shit Cadillac. And he pulls me out and he looks at my knee and goes, oh, you're the ringleader. I'm like, no, I'm not the ringleader. I'm like 6 months older than this guy. So sure enough, we go to Lou Sterrett City Jail in Dallas. The scary part was that it was Texas OU weekend, which is the biggest weekend. Texas plays Oklahoma. I knew 4 people in the jail. And this is like an hour away from my house, and I knew 4 people there. And I didn't get bailed out till the morning because it was so busy. And my dad, I was waiting for my dad just to drop the hammer. And my bail was $400, so I only had to pay $40. The cop was like, you don't have $40? Did you only have to pay $40? I'm like, dude, I'm 17. I can look at him today and go, dude, I'm almost 48 and I got $40 in my pocket.
So you were pulling the Carlos of going to the movie theater and like making money with ticket stubs?
Almost. Well, I sat there and I was like, no, I don't have it. I got to call my dad. So I called my dad. I told him, I was like, hey, yeah, I got arrested, blah, blah, blah. He goes, were you drinking? I said, no. He goes, okay, I'll be down as soon as I can. And I'm waiting. I'm waiting for the hammer of Jerry to come down, because that was my dad's name. And I walk out of jail, and he goes, Arn, we all fuck up. And he gave me a hug. And he goes, get in the car. And I was like, okay. Now, when I got home, my mom was there, and I was kind of cocky at this point. She goes, where were you? And she knew where I was. I go, I was in jail. And I said like that. Only time my mother ever said fuck. She goes, get in your fucking room. And I was like, and my dad's looking at me like, you dumb shit. Yeah, so, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that, you're allowed to fuck up. Yeah. As long as you learn from that fuck up and you move on. We're talking about, the political correctness and stuff, and nobody's allowed to lose anymore. Parents today, and it's my generation that's ruined it. I don't know what happened. Because losing is one of the greatest things that can happen to you because you learn from it. It sucks. Yeah. It's horrible. I hate losing. There's no part of me that wants to lose. But if I lose, I learn something from it.
Well, it's like failure. Like, anything in life, you're not always going to, succeed. Like, the people that don't give up are the ones that actually succeed and have shows and they're entrepreneurs, because you don't get it right the first time out of the gate.
No. You guys scared if I chew while we do this?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. We're actually, do you want to take a break?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Okay. So yeah, I think that just that idea, because I taught continuation. So these kids had all been to jail. So I could say fuck or whatever it was, because that's how they talk. So right. It's like, well, I'm not going to pretend like I'm from Sac with the same legs and really go on with my Long Beach prison children. Because I used to dress like that, I was 20 years old when I started teaching. I graduated college in 3 years.
Wow. Show off. I graduated college in 3 years, yeah.
I told for 3 months.
I blew a .20 and still could walk.
I had the highest level of alcohol in the hospital.
You got me there. I used to buy drugs in Stockton and can live and tell about it.
Oh
yeah. Oh yeah.
Anyway, my friend.
I look back. So we used to buy, because where I grew up in Garland, we were a dry county, which means you can't drink there. Like they don't have beer stores, they don't have liquor stores, nothing. So you'd have to drive to Dallas. Now, the closest liquor store that was on Northwest Highway, which was 11.4 miles away from Ron, just because I knew, they carded like a motherfucker.
Okay.
And if you had a fake ID, they'd probably let you go, but nobody had a fake ID. So we would have to go on I-30 and drive to Dolphin Road in Dallas. Dolphin Road's in East Dallas. It's not as bad as South Dallas or Oak Cliff. You go to Dolphin Road's a scary place. But every liquor store on Dolphin Road would sell them because they all get busted every other weekend. So, I walked into a place before we were going to Padre for spring break, and I bought 14 cases of beer wearing my senior T-shirt. And it said Seniors 90, and the guy looks at me and goes, that's from SMU, right? And I was like, yeah, right. It's South Garland. I'm like, okay. But you know, I look back on all the dumb things I did to get either drunk or high. It's like, why am I still here?
Well, I tell my daughters, like, they're gonna have to make mistakes. And like some of the best times I had, fucking shit-faced.
Oh.
And I would rather them get it out of their system young than when they're...
So be my age, you're making these choices
no,
because you
when
can start
they're
drinking till you're 23.
I'd rather them get it out of their system when they're younger.
Yeah.
And so that, I mean, not my daughter, I think she's going too far. But yeah, you're gonna make mistakes. That's only because you're gonna make mistakes. I don't ever want you to think you have to be perfect.
Right.
It's just how you handle it and if you learn from it.
But I was allowed to make mistakes. I mean, like, that's the thing is, like, when I talk about having to graduate college early and all these things, like, I was held, that wasn't good enough. I didn't go to law school. So, like, now I was a failure. Now I graduated with honors from college. I went to 3 colleges at once, had 3 jobs, played soccer in college, had a boyfriend that lived in Sacramento, but I was still failing. You know, so, like, the need to always push yourself, you know, because it was never good enough. Like, I didn't drink until I was 23 when I got through my first round of grad school. You know, when I broke up with my boyfriend. I didn't understand these experiences. I didn't even know how to date because I missed the whole college dating in high school because I pushed myself. So I never got to live the college life. So I kind of just have done that for 13 years now.
Good for you. I mean, no, it's important. Like, there's some people that miss out on all that. And it's like, you have to live it sometime because it was fun. Like, I mean, I still live it. I still live and dress like I'm 17 years old in Garland, Texas. I'm okay with that. I mean, I don't drink at all anymore. I don't do anything. I chew tobacco and I drink Dr. Pepper. Those are my 2 vices. So, but I get to enjoy life.
Yeah.
And sometimes enjoying life is imbibing. I mean, going to Padre, that was great times. I mean, I never got to see a donkey show, which bums me out. I mean, yeah, I want to go to a donkey show worse than anything. I mean, that's the only reason I'll ever go to Mexico again, is to see the donkey show. And do they have, like, here's the question. Do they have merchandise? Do they have t-shirts available?
What about, like, I don't know what this donkey show is.
Oh, you don't know what donkey show
is?
Is
that an acetone thing?
No, I'm pretty sure I know.
Donkey show is when a woman fucks a donkey.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's like a horse. Like, normally it's a horse,
but
it's a
like,
donkey.
And I want to do it. I want to go to that more than anything. And just to say that I've been to a donkey show, because, you know, it doesn't get me off or anything.
But you need a shirt that says,
well, that's a question I have.
survived the donkey show.
Well, do they have, like, foam donkey penises that you can buy? I mean, I know I have plenty of fucking, thanks to Shane and his toys and something. But, like, is there food there? What about backstage
passes? Do you
passes?
want to eat somewhere where that's going on?
Well, you never know. They could have churros.
I'm not eating. Okay.
Oh, come on. Now, what if you get to meet the person? What if you got, like, a meet and greet?
I'm not shaking their hand.
What are you saying to the girl? Good job?
Good job taking the donkey dick?
I mean, seriously, like...
I'm like, I cannot go see this. Like,
I want to take pictures. I mean, this is just... this is fantastic.
This would be traumatic to me because I didn't, like, I was going to watch TV growing up. So I'm, like, very innocent.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I got an hour weekend with Xano 2.0, so I'm very excited.
Okay, all right, good.
That was it, though. So I didn't see movies. I have no, like, reference to pop culture, anything ever. And that came before because, you know, that's what my parents did to make me read books and, like, be educated. So I get, like, traumatized even thinking about this. I was like, someone's gonna, like, send me a fucking link and be like, try to watch this.
Well, when I worked with it was right when the internet started, and we found a video of a chick blowing a horse. And a horse, ejaculate is ginormous. It's a horse. And you can see the moment, like, once it starts spewing, the look in her eyes, like, I did this for heroin. And I mean, it's just like everywhere. It's like fantastic. And she started crying. So I was like, okay, video well done. Video well done.
It served a purpose.
I'm traumatized watching my rabbits have sex. I don't think I want to
I want to see rabbits have sex.
They play a little alone.
The rabbits are probably like looking like, what are you doing? Stop watching, weirdo.
No, I had one of my male rabbits. He's his favorite cup.
Oh, God. Okay, so you have a point you want to talk about to be talking
Yes, okay, so no, we haven't talked about it. You guys ready?
Yeah,
yes, let's do
Okay, so back when Britney Spears was young, when everybody had the countdown clock going, and she said she was saving her virginity. And a lot of girls save their virginity for marriage. But they were having ass sex. They were doing butt sex, and they claimed that they were virgins.
Right.
If you have ass sex. Like, I asked this question on the show today. I was like, if you're a guy and you go home to your wife is like, oh, this is the first time I've ever had sex. This hole. And the guy goes, what do you mean? Well, I've had sex in the ass like 34 times. Is that person still a virgin?
I'm going to say technically no, just because of like what people like say like is the traditional. Only because of going to Catholic school. We didn't even talk about this. Like, I didn't even know about anal sex until, like, I don't know, I was 17 or 18. I was in my little bubble of ESAC and political correctness. So I'm going to go with the penis in the vagina will make you not a virgin.
But penis in the butthole, are you a virgin?
Yeah, you technically still are.
Okay.
But it's still a form of sex. I mean, the hymen
But
is
it's
intact.
oral sex.
See, I brought that up, and here's the question that was posed to me. If a girl is going to town on herself with one of these wonderful toys here, and it breaks her hymen, is she a virgin?
Yeah. Because mine didn't break until a couple months later after I started having sex.
Is she a virgin? And my answer was, you're not a virgin. You have to have two people there to lose your virginity.
Yeah, I can go. Yeah,
I mean, the sex-free virginity is not the same as like a real person.
Right. But like, if somebody brought up, well, what about lesbian? You know, if is a lesbian always a virgin? I said, no, because once they have somebody who's in that situation with them. But yeah, it was weird, you know, when I would hear that. I remember when I heard that, I was like, wait a second. Girls having butt sex. I mean, that guy is the best salesman in the world. I mean,
that is a true story.
I mean, he's like, hey, you want to stay a virgin? Okay, how about if I just put it in your butt? Oh, okay.
I'm a virgin still.
Well, you know my favorite show, the Cavallari one, like the reality show. They were all
I love that show.
She talked about this. They were all talking about they got talked into having anal sex first. Her assistant, like they were all talking about them losing their anal virginity. She's like, oh, I thought that man, I'm still a virgin. And she's like, who talked you into that? Like very Cavallari.
Yeah.
This couple episodes ago, and I was like, really? Like really? That's what you thought?
Oh, I mean, like. I know, like, my first experience, since this is a sex show, I can share with you guys.
Oh, yeah.
And you guys are. So, I was dating a girl who lived here. She lived in Reno. And we dated, and best sex I ever had was this girl, like, my whole life. Like, we got back together, like, 10 years later, but that's a whole different story. And she's like, well, what do you want to do? I was like, I want you to show up at the house wearing a schoolgirl outfit, hair and pigtails. And I said, I'm going to fuck you in the ass, and I'm going to come in your mouth. She was down. And I was like, okay, fantastic. She knew what time it was. So she gets to the house, we start going at it, I go down on her, do my thing, and this girl, like, she wasn't a squirter, which bummed me out, because I've always wanted to be with a squirter. But she was river, like, my bed turned into a water bed with her. And it wasn't because of me, obviously, she just, like, so I go in, I gently go in, you know, lots of baby oil and lube and everything, I'm a gentleman about it. And we start going at it, right? And she goes, I have to stop, I have to go to the bathroom. I was like, oh, okay. When I exit, it's like my dick has turned into a porta potty. It's the worst fucking smell I'm like, oh, and she went to the bathroom. She was in the bathroom for like 15 minutes.
So when she said she had to go to the bathroom, wasn't to go pee?
No. It's
like she was like a shit.
Oh, God almighty, it was like Thanksgiving shit, because I mean, it was like, and it was like, I was like, oh, this is so bad. And like, we didn't even continue. Like, we went to the movies. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, we never ever even talked about it. And I never talked about it, because she knew, like, it was the worst. It was so bad.
Did you get in the shower together at least afterwards? Like,
no, as soon as she went back to the bathroom, I think, to cry, and then I went to my bathroom to cry and scrub. Oh my God, it was like horrible. I was like, oh my God, I thought I was bad because I'm a guy. I'm like, holy shit, what did she eat?
Taco Bell?
Oh shit, she like ate Taco Bell in Mexico.
So did you have anal again after this?
No, never had it. Well,
with others?
With other girls, well, yeah, one time I did with this girl, and okay, so I'm being open and honest here. So we're going at it, right? And she did anal a whole different way. Like she was very, very bendy, and she could pull her legs all the way over to where I didn't have to go from behind and do doggy style. So her legs are back here. I'm going down, and it's a little tighter than, so it's not going to be too long. So I pull out, and her and I had been dating for like 8 months, both been tested, so no condom, because I'm stupid. And I pop, but I didn't realize that I turned into Peter North. Peter North shoots like across the room. And it went, bam!
Oh my God.
Right in her eye. And I go, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I said, I'm so sorry. She goes, I wish you would have said something because I would have opened my mouth. I'm like, oh my God. And it was like, fuck, we're done. You're too dirty for me.
Oh my God. See, like a guy, like, I was given a blowjob and like, I was like, okay, don't, cover my mouth because you're not my boyfriend because that's a boyfriend privilege. It got in my eye and it was at a party. Everyone could hear me outside screaming bloody murder about my eye burning. My eye! My eye's burning. Give me one next solution. Like literally I was like, it's on fire. And like, and the best part was I had my period and didn't tell him. So on top of all of this, like, it was like this shit show that never ended. Yes. And then this person watches my podcast.
Yeah, you have to tell a guy if you're on, like I don't mind. Like, Red Wings are fine. I don't care about it.
It grosses me out.
But you have to tell the guy, otherwise, I remember I was with a girl one time, and she started, like, right as we were going at it, and she could feel it, and she wanted to stop, pull out, and there's blood on my dick. I'm like, whoa, I'm broken. Something's wrong with
Blood
me.
shouldn't be there, right?
And I was like, no, this is a bad place for blood. She goes, no, that's mine. I'm like, okay, whatever, get out.
I mean, that's what showers are for. I mean, like, because I had 4 periods a year when I was on birth control for like 17 years. Mm-hmm. And then, like, now you don't have a uterus, so you don't have to worry about such things.
But it doesn't feel good to me.
Oh, it makes my cramps go away. That's why I made everyone have sex with me. I was in so much pain because,
You
like...
made them? Yeah, I'm done. You're going to fuck me right now.
Well, I didn't tell them, perhaps. Well, I was with the same guy, though, from 17 to 23. That's who I was in virginity, you see. So,
okay.
I mean, he was super cool about it, so I thought everyone else would be. Clearly, that's not what you do.
If you tell people, then, they can work through their head, but you don't tell them. It's like, oh,
But you tell me your random hookups from Newport. Like,
yeah, a random hookup, fuck that guy.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't someone I was dating.
Yeah, I never tell chicks I have herpes. I'm kidding.
So how old were you when you lost your virginity?
I was 17. I was 17. My parents had gone out of town. I was having sex with this girl and I was drunk. I had whiskey dick real bad. But we finished. The weird thing was I was having a house party because my parents were out of town. So of course I'm having their bedroom, right? And my brother calls. And he's like, hey, what are you doing? Because, like, the party answered the phone. They're like, let me go out here. And I'm like, hey, what's up, Tom? How you doing? He goes, what are you doing? I go, mom and dad are out of town, having some people over. Oh, all right, well, I was going to talk to you about baseball. I'm like, I don't want to talk about baseball right now. I'm in the middle of something right now. And that's how I lost my virginity.
See, my brother was in the other room, so this is almost worse, 17. I didn't want him to watch wrestling that night, the WWE, so I decided it would be a good idea to have sex and leave my brother in the other room for 3 hours while we tried to figure it out. 2 virgins were blind leading the blind sober.
Yeah, that's like, this girl knew what time it was. She was kind of a loose girl, if you will. I didn't care. I was losing my virginity. It was awesome. It was fantastic. And then there's my friend Tommy. I have to share this story with you guys. So Tommy, who's my best friend in the entire world, I've known him since I was like 13, and he and I are still close. So having another house party, and we worked at a water park. And the water park was there for drinking and sex. I don't know how nobody died at this water park.
Oh,
well, no. People didn't have sex at the water park. This was all the employees. Okay. You were there to, like, when you got off work, you went to somebody's house and drank. And the random hookups. So we're at my house, big party going on, and I see Tommy and this girl making out. This girl's okay, but she's like 22 and we're 17, 18. And we're in the back room. I was like, hey, let's all go. I want to give my boys some change for some time. So we all leave the room, and I didn't have a big house. We walked down the hallway, it wasn't a big hallway, and I walked in the kitchen to say hello to people, grab another beer, saw the people playing quarters at the table, and I walked in the living room, and there's Tommy. And there's the girl. Tommy's hair's all fucked up. And I look, I'm like, wait a second. I wasn't gone that long. I go, Tommy, what's up? He's like, what's up, man? How you doing? I go, Tommy, did you just have sex? He goes, hey, man, shh. And she's sitting right there. I was like, holy shit, 2-minute Tommy. Story got back to the football team. And that was his nickname. He was so mad at me forever because of that. That was bad, but no, it was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen. I lasted way longer my first time.
My first time, like, we couldn't even figure out how to put condoms on or do anything. Like, where do you put your legs? It's like, I hadn't seen any porn. Like, this was when they still had, like, the black boxes and you could watch. So my brother's watching porn in the other room the entire time. And he kept asking, he's like, Jen, did you have sex in there? He was 2 years younger, I took my brother with me, because I wouldn't leave him at the house, God forbid. And so, it was like, no, for years. I mean, like, into my 20s, I told him it was not in the other room when I had sex for the first time. But he was.
My first time, the guy didn't know. Well, because it was the whole metal on the street corner.
Oh my God!
Right.
So the last podcast we talked about losing our virginity. I'm telling you the story. It's great.
Didn't go to high school,
Okay.
and I lived in the Bay Area, and my mom worked as a nurse in San Francisco, so I would go to work with her during the day and just run the streets of San Francisco. So I met this dude on the corner of Haight and Ashbury.
All right. Classy. Classy fella.
He was 23, I was 15.
Okay. All right.
So-
There's no judgment here. I mean,
He didn't even have a car, he had a skateboard.
Okay.
I think he might have had a job. No, he's a drug dealer.
you had a job.
He also got me hooked on meth the next year, so.
Okay, fantastic.
So my mom was at work one day, so I had him take the bus to come over, and he had no idea I was a virgin.
That was
That was it.
Well, he knew what he was doing, though. Right? He knew what he was doing. You didn't know what you
Yeah,
were
I
doing.
just kind of went along with it. Like,
Okay,
yeah, I know
okay.
what I'm doing.
Kind of like what we do every day.
Fake it till we make it.
There's no fake to make it. Just like you continue on with the next chapter.
Now, I've always wanted to market a line of T-shirts for women that say, I like the oops. You know what the oops is, right? Okay, so I just saw this movie, Booksmart, that new movie that
Oh,
came
yeah, I
out.
saw.
What'd you think?
It was funny, but like not.
It's not like the girl super bad. Like,
No, that's what it was marketed as.
Yeah.
I did a movie premiere for it,
Yeah.
so I saw it super early.
Okay, so the scene you saw where, she started, one girl's a lesbian. I have to stop saying dyke.
So you're about in the bathroom?
Yeah, and she's about to finger this girl, and she goes in the wrong hole. That's the oops. Like when a guy pulls the oops and he's from behind him, oops. Every guy knows what the oops is. And
No, it's a panic around the hole.
yeah, and it's like, wait a second, how does a girl not figure that? I was like, that's such a farce. That girl's gonna know.
I remember she was like fucking her panda as well, to masturbate with, and like that whole scene. And then like the fact that she threw up after she put the finger in her butt on top of her, and then they like.
Well, no, she drank. Remember, she drank from the ashtray.
Oh, that's what it was.
That
Like, I
was
think
it.
that was in the cup. I was
Yeah.
like,
Oh, yeah.
I was like,
And then she threw up on the girl. I was like, okay, boy, they were really trying hard to make people laugh at this.
Oh yeah, no, I don't watch. I see a lot of movies now because of doing screens and such, but it was okay.
Yeah, I want to see the hot girl's boobs that was on the floor. I want to see those boobs. I was like, come on.
Well, you've done everything else, like whatever.
Yeah, I mean, this is rated R. They said fuck a bunch of times. Let's see some nipple. Come on. That's all I want to see, is a little bit of nipple. No nipple.
So disappointing. Okay, so do you have any final thoughts for us?
Final thoughts. No, I mean, thank you guys for letting me be on your show. I've had a wonderful time. I hope you have me on again. I mean,
Absolutely.
I've
This is
shared
great.
some stories that I don't know if I've even shared some of these stories on my show.
Well, that's good.
Like
It's fun.
did I tell you the first blowjob I got? Did I tell you that
Oh, we
story?
saw that at the comedy
Yes.
show, right?
Oh,
Was that
okay.
the podcast?
Maybe-
That was
I
a
think it was a
podcast.
podcast, yeah.
The
Yeah.
fart heard around the world. The fart in Plano, Texas that has haunted me to this day.
So, can our listeners get a copy of like the podcast we did? Is that possible?
I'm working on it right now because it was a 27-hour file.
Yeah.
And I've tried to download it 3 times and won't download. So what I'm doing now is I took Monday off and I played the hours of 10 p.m. to 3 a.m.
Okay.
On Monday. So I've got the show. So what I'll do is one of these days I will play, like, I'll do that and then I'll mark it and then I'll send you guys a copy of y'all's segment.
Well, because your biggest fan, and Tahoe
Right.
Shade.
You know, Shane, you
Dildo
can listen.
Shane.
Dildo Shane.
Sorry, Shade.
Shane the dildo. All you gotta do is go to arnieradio.com, and it's not on there yet
Okay.
because it's a 27-hour file, but there are 506 shows on there.
Are you able to go back and listen to old episodes?
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
was complaining today or yesterday that you can't do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That
Oh,
was
you-
beyond what I was able to figure
all
out.
you have to do. Did you join?
Yeah.
$2.99.
Oh no.
Yeah. See, if you join, it's
I didn't know
$2.99 a
there was
month, and I'm trying to get more. The more people I get, the lower the price is going to
Oh, I didn't
be.
even see that.
Yeah. Go down to podcasts. and you hit podcasts, and it'll let you sign up. And as soon as you sign up, you can go back in time and listen to
Okay.
I think Shane has this, because Shane was like, he knows like everything. I mean, like the fan club, him and Amy yesterday, we went to the house and they've been drinking since 4 a.m. This was about 1 o'clock yesterday. He had 6 boxes of sex toys still from when he used to sell them. And he's like, take them all. And I was like, no, we'll just take one box.
Thanks.
Well, because we did the reviews of the sex toys for Amazon, so that's where the idea came from.
Okay.
We were going to bring you the old school before the Amazon.
I appreciate that. These aren't that old school. Like I was like, you say old school, I'm figuring get Amish like sex toys or something.
We went to
made out
with
of
a
wood.
cord. No, I didn't want to look through all the boxes at this point because I wanted to just like come home with the sex toys and be surprised at what was in there.
I still wish you were pulled over on the way home and had to explain that.
That'd be great. Oh, that'd be so
I thought like
fantastic.
if I like played with it like with the cop.
Officer.
What does this do?
I was given this as like party gift.
I found this on the side of the road. Do I put it on Craigslist like found?
No, the magnetic massager.
Oh, yes.
Why is
6 feet. I don't know. Like there's just like this. I mean, these are old school. I mean, like look at the woman on there.
Well, she was a porn star. That's Devin Lane.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
I'm glad you and see, this is why we.
Well,
need
I
to-
had sex with a porn star. When Dennis Hoff was alive at whatchamacallit.
Oh, the bunny ranch.
Yeah,
You
the
told
money
me
ring,
that.
yeah. I had sex with a porn star, and I didn't have to pay for it, so I'm pretty much a rock star.
You are a rock star.
I am a rock star when it comes